interesting report came out that I'm going to go and use and go based upon to compare the prices of the peak of real estate in certain areas, which is 2017, versus the prices as we know them from the most recent studies in the market trends and stats. Compare them to the numbers from the most recent month that I have access to in terms of numbers, stats, and trends, which is August 2020. So basically in this video, I'll be comparing the market trends and stats of August 2020 to the peak of 2017. I'm going to be looking at detached homes specifically, and I'll provide illustration that I got from the report that's going to be available on the screen as well. Just to quickly give credit, it's from a Zoocasa report. So this illustration is from a Zoocasa report, it's not mine. What I got from this report off the bat, and I think is one of the main themes of this video I want to get across, is that it seems as if even though it was the case that August saw a great improvement in prices in detached homes in central locations of Toronto, so we're talking about North York, we're talking about Richmond Hill, we're talking about King City, we're talking about downtown, mid-city, wherever you want to call it, prices were generally up. As I've said in the past, I've made several videos, go watch those, with the exception of condominiums in certain areas were not up at the same rate, and in certain cases were actually down, but that aside, everything was up. However, compared to the peaks of 2017, they are still down. That is the case for central locations. Not so much when you venture out far east and far west. That is the case for central locations. Not so much when you venture out far east and far west. Now, for some of you, Scarborough might be far east and Mississauga be far west, but I'm talking even further than that. I'm talking about further west of Mississauga and further east of Scarborough. So based on what you see on the screen, City of Toronto counts as Toronto Central, Toronto East, Toronto West. Total, the City of Toronto, the average price of a detached home was $1.5 million as of August 2020. However, that is still $73,000 less than the peaks of 2017, which comes to about a figure of 5%. Same thing applies to the York region, which is when you look at, for instance, Richmond Hill, Markham, Thornhill, King City, Aurora, all those, that is what's considered York region. Total, the price was down 11%, and in dollar figure, that's about $157,000. Now, take into account that this is comparing the prices of August 2020 to the peaks of 2017, but the peaks of 2017 for each region and area differs month to month. For instance, in Toronto Central, this study, they've listed the peak as February 2017, where with Toronto East, it's a different date. In terms of methodology, in my opinion, although this gets you to the correct general direction in terms of what's actually happening in the market, it's not as accurate ideally, because what you have is Toronto Central is compared to a different month, and Toronto East is compared to a different month in 2017, but they then average out for the Toronto City at large and in general. So in terms of methodology, it is a bit weird, I would say, in that sense. Let's take a look at this chart here. It shows the average detached price of August 2020 versus the peak of 2017's in different months. As you can see, one month is April, another month is February for different regions. For instance, as you can see, it states the February of 2017 as the peak for Newmarket, whereas for other locations it's April or March. And you see the percentage difference, which in all these cases it's less. That's what I mean. It's not exactly the most concrete methodology in my frank opinion, but at the same time, it is a very good study. That's the case for central locations. As I said earlier, and I hope you guys by now kind of get the grip of, is that wider you go, further out you go east and west, now is the peak, now is the highest prices. If we take another look at the larger chart, as you can see that color codes and maps the rate at which things are hot, quote unquote. So if it's gray, as is the central locations, it's down. If it's yellow, it's breaking even or a bit higher. If it's red, it's very hot. As you can see, all the outskirts locations are where the hot markets are and where the prices are at their peaks for detached homes. For instance, look at the east, Oshawa, Whitby, Ajax, and then west you have, as you know, close as Mississauga, then Brampton, Burlington. And these charts also support that as well. As you can see, many of them, the rows are blank. They don't state a difference in in price point because the peak was August. I suspect once again that this has to do with the fact that since work and proximity to work is no longer an issue, most people who were otherwise renting or owned downtown anyways, or some more central locations, now compounded by the fact that affordability is an issue, they are looking for places in the outskirts of the city. And once again, they don't have to really worry about proximity to work because they can work from home, and they're purchasing, once again, because it is more affordable, they're purchasing in places like Ajax, Pickering, and Mississauga, even west of Mississauga. And to be frank with you, I'm surprised Mississauga is this up. I'm surprised Mississauga is the peak right now because to me, that's not really that far. Anyways, that's Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate and Remax Realtron Realty Inc. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to subscribe, comment, rate, and review. My contact information is in the description box. Get in touch with me if you have any questions. And yeah, I'd be happy to help. So thanks for watching and stay safe.